I'm Anil Kumar. We will discuss distributive property and take up few examples based on that in these list of videos. Let us begin with the very basic concept of area. Let us say if you were to find product of two numbers, let's say 3 times 5. How can you do it? We learned that on a graph paper, we could make a rectangle with 3 squares on one side, 5 on the other, and count the squares in between. So when you count the squares in between, you get the area of the whole rectangle. And if we have 3 here, 5 here, counting all the squares in between will give you the area, and those number of squares will be 15, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So these are all 15 squares, and therefore we say 3 times 5 is 15, and that is how you learn the basic concept of area. We'll continue with this concept to solve another question and also understand distributive property. So we'll do geometric representation of 3 times. Instead of 5, I'm taking a polynomial x plus 5, right? So it's slightly different. It is 3 times x plus 5, but the concept is same. So let's build on this concept. This time what we have is, let me make a rectangle here. Now one side is again 3 for us. However, the other side is x plus 5. So don't go with the scale this time. Let's divide the other side, which we call as the length, as sum of two sides, which is x and 5, right? So one, which is width for us, let's say is 3, and the other side is, we want to write x plus 5. Now we are taking this smaller side as one of the side as x, the other one as 5. Okay, so split the length into 2 so that one part of it is represented by the variable x, the other one by the constant 5, correct? So what we have here is another rectangle whose one side is 3 and the other side is x plus 5. Now what should 3 times x plus 5 be? Now we want to write what is 3 times x plus 5 equal to, right? Now this is product. So if I do length times width, I should get the area, and that area can represent this product. So 3 times x plus 5 basically is area of triangle, rectangle, okay? So area of this rectangle is indeed 3 times x plus 5. Now this whole area is equal to sum of areas of two rectangles, these two rectangles, correct? Now what is the area of this rectangle? Area of this rectangle is 3 times x, right? How about that? 3 times 5. So the area is 3 times 5. Since total area of the rectangle is same as sum of these two rectangle areas, we can actually write 3 times x plus 5 as 3x plus 15. 15 is 3 times 5. Do you see that? So that is how we can find a product of a number with a polynomial, right? This property is actually also called distributive property. You're actually multiplying all the terms inside this bracket by the number outside. So you multiply x by 3 and then add over 3 times 5, right? So that is called the distributive property. So now let me take a very general case, that is to say, instead of having a number here as 3, let me take a variable here. Let's say we have a times b plus c, right? If we have a times b plus c, we'll again make the same model of our rectangle, and we say, well, this time in our model we'll have a rectangle, and one side of this rectangle is going to be a for us, The other side is going to be b plus c. So this is b plus c. Since it is b plus c, we'll divide this length in two parts so that one of them is b, right? So this is b. The other one is c, right? So the other one is c. So it is b plus c is the length, width is a. Now, what is the area of each rectangle? Area of this rectangle is a times b, and area of the other rectangle is a times c. Now, a times b plus c, a times b plus c gives you the area of big rectangle. That should be equal to sum of these two areas, that is a times b plus a times c. So effectively, we have multiplied both these terms one by a, which was outside, right? So this is called distributive property, right? So here we have learned distributive property where a binomial is being multiplied by one term, right? So that is what the distributive property is. We'll further explore it with few more examples. I hope you understand the very basic concept. Thank you and all the best.